Batman.
Yeah.
Are you staying for the party?
If I stay, there can be no party. I must be out there in the night, staying vigilant. Wherever a party needs to be saved, I'm there. Wherever there are masks, wherever there's tomfoolery and joy, I'm there. But sometimes I'm not, because I'm out in the night, staying vigilant, watching, lurking, running, jumping, hurtling, sleeping. No, I can't sleep. You sleep. I'm awake. I don't sleep. I don't blink. Am I a bird? No. I'm a bat. I am Batman. Or am I? Yes, I am Batman.
Well, here we are again, Chapter 8 of the DC Alliance podcast. I'm the Bat Daddy 52. With me, as always, my homeboy T-Bone. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, Greg. Thought we were gonna have a slow Monday with news, and we were gonna have to stretch out a podcast. But Zack Snyder dropped an interview, and I couldn't be more excited to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. It's still a slow Monday with news. We just have a big story to talk about. So, because it's really only one or two stories we're talking about, but it's a really huge one. And we got a special guest with us tonight from the Marvel Alliance podcast, World's Finest True Believer, Super Civil Servant. This guy gets around. Chris Balga, how you doing, buddy?
Don't spread all my secrets. I get around, but I try to stay in secret here.
Oh, dude, we're all
How
podcasters, man.
You say I get around, but I seem to associate with this the same amount of people. So I don't know how around to get around so much. But.
Get around in a group. There you go. It's awesome to have you on, man. I know you wanted to come on and talk about this Snyder cut deal, or Snyder news that came out today. So let's go ahead and we'll get started with news tonight and get this out of the way. T-Bone, I'm gonna toss it to you. Get us going with some news.
Zack Snyder did an interview with Grace Randolph. That's basically the news that Chris is here for. First of all, I'm just going to say it before we get into it. I'm not a big fan of Grace. I think that a lot of what she puts out is just rumors for clickbait, for views. I understand that there's a big part of the Snyder Cut fandom that thinks that she's been beating a drum for it, but if you go back and look, her opinion has flip-flopped over the years. Right. But she's been
definitely on a number of fronts.
But she's been consistent for the last, I'd say, probably year and a half of being like, we should see this. Mm-hmm. I guess, like Chris was saying to me before we started recording, this is like PR 101, to get her on his good side, which I really enjoyed the interview. I can't wait to talk about it. I just didn't expect it, to be honest with you. When I woke up today, I was like, oh, geez, this dropped. I immediately had to go watch it, and I couldn't wait for you guys to finish so we could discuss it.
Oh, yeah. Let you, man. Chris, what's up?
No, I was shocked because when I think it was you, Travis, that put it in the Twitter chat at that point. What just had posted. I was shocked. I was not expecting something like that, especially the week of Justice Con, him doing any sort of press until after that. But yeah, I mean, some of the topics that were discussed were still. He dropped a lot of interesting nuggets with this. Definitely some stuff to chew on for what's happening, what will be going on, and some hints towards Justice Con.
Yeah.
And beyond.
Yeah. Like I was saying, it's one of those things that I had no idea this was coming. It's a really unexpected surprise. The interviewer doesn't really bother me as much because I'm not as in tune with that as y'all are. And, I just kind of, y'all tell me this is right, this is wrong as far as person to listen to news, that what the rumors and whatnot, and I believe that, and it's worked out pretty well for me so far. So,
God, one day that's
just gonna blow up in your face.
Play an April Fool's joke on you so bad day.
I'm sure. I can't believe you haven't yet. But no, I mean,
we like you too much to do that.
I appreciate
it. You're on every show. Revenge will be quite easy for you.
That's true. I do the editing a lot. Yeah, you're right. So, but yeah. It was interesting. I liked the conversation that was going on. There was some good news that came out of it that I'm super excited for, and I'm ready to talk about it. So Give me some key points, some things y'all want to talk about, because I know y'all are both like biting at the chomp to talk about this all day today.
First thing I want to get in.
I'll let you start.
First thing I want to get in on is he said it's probably going to be longer than 214 minutes. He kind of alluded at that, and I really think from all the talking, Chris, that it's going to be like TV show style episodes.
Yeah, the fact that he even said it's a closely guarded secret on the exact time, because he doesn't want to be held to it outside of what he originally said the assembly cut was. We've said it before. We've said it on pretty much all our shows that it makes the most sense for this to be an episodic movie that will eventually be recut into one big show at that point, hopefully. But I'll take it in whatever form we can get. But yeah, that was nice to hear that it's ending up being longer. I'll take as much, even if we said before, if this is all we get, which from what he's saying here, I don't think that's all we're gonna get, especially with what our author of the big book that's coming out is saying that he's got some more big information to share when the book releases. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, he said he was biting his fingers, like he was nervous that he was going to like drop something with Grace that he's told him.
I think he knows. I think he knows where Grace stands,
Yeah.
Zach, and I think that he knows where his true people are that stick by his side. So he's only going to give.
He didn't give her
certain
really
people
much at all.
certain
Just
information.
mostly face value stuff. Like there was no like secret nuggets or anything in here, but there was a couple things. The other thing, while Chris was talking about that, Henry Cavill is looking off buff lately, like more than average, and something tells me that we may get an extra scene or two with him, maybe setting him up for his own movie after this. Who knows?
He's got to assemble that gaming computer, man. It takes a lot of work. That's some heavy equipment.
See, if he used Brainiac, he might be able to get it done quicker.
But it's funny. He talks about. I know he even mentioned in this interview about how he's no stranger to long movies. If you watch any of his movies, he enjoys long movies, and I didn't know he came from commercials. That's what he said in this interview. Like I had no idea about that, and that is, I guess, a good maybe reason why he likes to tell long stories, because he always had to do everything so short, and he brought that up. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll have to say the biggest thing that I loved him talk about, there was pretty much most of this interview was really interesting, but when it was talking about the Snyder Cut and DCEU continuity, that was a very interesting part, and he spent a lot of time kind of talking about that. He said the movie's been like 5 years since it came out. The DCEU has branched off in amazing and great ways. He said that's a direct quote. He said, look, and pointing out, look at what Matt's doing with the Batman. I'm super excited about it. He's an amazing filmmaker. Robert is cool. But he said, for me, when the movie falls, I really believe it represents its own path and kind of divergent from the current DCU continuity. I think it's good. The power of the DC and the strength of it with the multiverse. He said those words with the multiverse. Also, where they put filmmakers first, and we want to hear individual voice in your own run with those characters and what you would do with it. He just loves the idea that you can tell your story with it and be its own thing. And we've said it before with DC leaning hard in the idea of the multiverse. Let's go with it. Let's have Zack Snyder have his own multiverse.
Well, Chris, that's basically the comics. That's how the comics go. Like, artist takes a run on a comic, and sometimes you don't like it, and sometimes you really like it, and sometimes it's some of your greatest stories that you've ever read. And I think this is no different. So he actually said it in this, during the same contact. Like you said, he also mentioned that he was a producer for Wonder Woman 84. And he loves that character and how much that character means to him. And you can just see, just from him talking, how much he truly loves these characters.
Yeah, and it's saying that this continuity across DC movies, my DC movies, and satisfy my narrative. I started with Man of Steel, and continued in BVS. This will continue. This is my narrative. And the good thing is, with a lot of, especially comic book writers, is always the understanding is, you can do what you want within reason, but you have to put the toys back when you're done. Right. You have to leave it so that whoever's picking up the pen next, you don't back him into a corner. And I think DC has had a interesting history with that, especially recently.
He basically called it the Snyderverse. He actually said that. He said my movies will exist, but you'll take the best from it. They even touched on Wonder Woman and Aquaman being huge hits coming from his casting. I thought that was a nice little touch, actually.
Yeah.
What about you, Greg? What was your kind of big kind of favorite moment?
Well, I did enjoy the continuity part of it, but I also enjoyed his kind of explanation of really the characters, and I really liked his breakdown of Superman because I love his vision of Superman. I love how she kind of tried to talk to him about him loving evil Superman, but he's like, no, I don't really love evil Superman, and that's kind of my mindset of it. I don't think he's trying to do an evil Superman. He's trying to do a level, grounded Superman, somebody that deals with real world stuff that is more relatable to people. And he used a lot of those exact words. A person who's trying to reconcile with their morality. And to me, that's a more realistic Superman, and that's why I love his version of Superman. So hearing him talk about that, which I knew already, but it's just so great to hear the creator of this vision, or this not this vision, but at least this on-screen vision, talk about this that I love so much. It was perfect for me, man. I loved him breaking down the characters, or going through some of the characters.
And that was bait that he didn't take. Like, she was purposely trying to say, like, that makes him dark. That he said, like, you're missing, you're not seeing it. It's like he's on a journey. He needs to figure out. He's an abstract character that can do all these powers, and when you bring him back down to earth, you make him more relatable. It's not about being evil. It's about this kid who's come across the stars, doesn't know who he is, and now has to figure out what it is, from emergence to death to rebirth.
Yep.
Yeah, he actually touched on, like, how do you change when you die and, like, go that close to the end and come back, and how would that change you? I loved that. Was the little thing that he touched on. And I also really enjoyed his respect for Superman. He even states it, like, of his moral compass and where he stands in the pyramid of DC characters. I thought that was a great little touch.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Greg, if you haven't listened to it, and anyone listening to this, I highly, highly suggest, and I don't know if you finally listened to it, Travis, but Man of Steel Answers Insight Commentary, also known as Mosaic. He just completed the Grail trilogy analysis of Man of Steel, BVS, looking at Superman and Batman's journey as related to the Grail quest.
I'm halfway through the first part, Chris.
Yeah, it'll blow your mind. I mean, I'm a huge Legend of Arthur fan, but yeah, just highly, highly recommend it. He did an outstanding job.
Well, good.
Well, what I was going to say, one other thing we got to talk about is him saying, actually we'll get into that in a little bit, lead that for the end. What do you think about the Cyborg talk, guys? Like, I loved how he basically said Cyborg was, we've already heard this before, heart of the movie, but I love how he said he tried to make it relatable back then, and he said it relates even more now.
Well, I just want to know why, if that was like the main focus. I'm not saying it wasn't, because I believe it was, but if that was the main focus of the movie, supposed to be the heart of the movie, why that was the part that was cut so badly and cut out? Like, why they changed that much of it so quickly, It doesn't make any sense to me, because it seems like this is supposed to be a major part of the movie. I just don't see them changing a major part like that.
I think, and again, this is just headcanning it, trying to rationalize bad decisions at this point. I hate to say it, but Cyborg, outside of the comic book community, does not have the biggest following in the sense of, like, it's outside of relatability. I mean, again, I'm speaking mainstream at this point, And so when you have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the quote-unquote DC Trinity, and Whedon's looking at the dailies saying, that's going to slow that down. It's going to slow that. Again, not justifying him cutting it at all. Yeah. I'm a huge Cyborg fan. Yeah. Love the character in the comics. Love what Zach. I love what Zach.
His true feelings
is planning on
finally
doing. Yes. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. No, I have no love for that man right now. And there was no denying that Zach truly loves Ray. He's a great friend to him. Ray's been a supporter through and through, and I'm so happy that we'll get to see Cyborg and the whole story behind it. It's just a shame that it's taken up to this long, and we may have never gotten to see it outside of what Zach was willing to release.
Right. Yeah, Greg, I think also that, like, Joss was bought in to make Justice League like Avengers. There is no origin story being told in Avengers at all. I think that they would probably just decided to cut a lot of Cyborg's origin and that is in this film, and that got cut out a lot about like, his football. All that was gone. His mother, we never seen her. I think that they cut all that for time because there was a big mandate. It was a 4-hour cut that they were working with, and they end up like changing 80 pages. I'm pretty sure I read 80 pages of the script. So I think it was a terrible decision because if your movie's hedging on this character being the heart of it and you remove most of his scenes, I'm pretty sure that'll undercut any movie that you're trying to make.
It makes a completely different movie, which
Yeah.
is what we end up getting, you know?
And the idea that he said, I found this interesting, is that Cyborg goes through a huge journey. He represents in a lot of ways it is what it is to create a community and what it is to bring people together. And it's rather interesting because I'm trying to think about who we have in this film, and almost all of them are loners by choice, except for Flash. He wants to, as he said, I need friends. He wants to be a part of something. He just feels ostracized. While, Vic, he's a football player, QB1, part of a team, part of a community, and this huge accident happens, takes that all away, and he's into forced ostracization because he doesn't know if a society will ever accept him like this. And as he starts trusting people to see that they see beyond what he can do and see him as an actual person, he that's a journey that we do not see with that theatrical cut at all.
No, it's bare bones. It's scraps on Vic's story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it makes me wonder, too, because you've seen a lot of footage that was cut from Cyborg, the flight training scene and the football scene and everything else. I wonder how much more there is of that footage that we just have never seen the light of day.
Seems like a lot.
Yeah.
He's put out a lot out there. I mean, we just seen photos and images, but I think obviously there seems to be a lot more.
The fact that he wouldn't commit to a exact time makes me really question how much we're actually going to get. I think we could get more than I was originally thinking, and I also think that he could, it's a given that it'll be broken up into 6 parts on HBO Max. They're going to draw this out and have people talking about it every week and building up to the end for sure.
People like us. Yeah, well, he even said, too, the fact that, one, he wouldn't commit to the time, and two, that when he was talking to Grace Ranoff, he was talking about how she was like, oh, it's got to be crazy working in your own home doing all this because you can wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, oh, I have an idea, and go down and start working on it. And he agreed. He was like, oh, yeah, so I'm wondering, like, how many times a day does he have an idea that he wants to change something or add something? So you're right. We could be getting something that's really long, which would be so fantastic. I'd love it so much.
Well, he did the Twitter, the Vero chat, and someone asked him, and he said no compromise on this one.
Yes.
Absolutely no compromise.
Yes,
They've given him
love
carte
it.
blanche.
I love it.
So.
Yep. Well, all right. I think there's really, I guess the only thing we haven't talked about is the Bruce Wayne Batman stuff. But I mean, that was just she was basically asking about him focusing on Bruce Wayne. I didn't really notice a whole lot more.
I have a question for Grace Randolph. She says the statement, I love Ben's portrayal as both at that point. But when she says like nobody's done a good job with portraying Bruce than you and Ben, why do so many scenes with Bruce while other films were more Batman? Has she really watched the Nolan films at all?
That's what I was wondering.
There are far more. That was the first thing when I saw this. Like, have you not seen the Dark Knight trilogy? There is far more Bruce Wayne in there, and I'm not. It just threw me. It's like, what a terrible worded question.
I found she cut off him a
movies.
couple times too. That really he was getting into going on a subject, and she interrupted him. And I was like, oh, I wanted him to keep going so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that of all the Batman movies, you can kind of look at them. I think it's at least like a 50-50 split of Bruce Wayne Batman, or in the suit, out of the suit. If not more Bruce Wayne in most movies, I would think. But yeah, definitely the Nolan trilogy. There's a lot of Bruce Wayne in that. It's a great role. Christian Bale does a great job.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of Bruce Wayne in there, so I just didn't get that question at all, and I was wondering if y'all thought about that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all. I liked how he kind of described being Bruce Wayne, having a lot of heroes showing how Batman is a badass, and with showing Bruce Wayne, you can show the way he's a badass, as opposed to just him being a badass. And I like that. That was a pretty cool statement.
Yeah, that was wicked.
But there's really only one more big thing to talk about, and that was the announcement. It's about Justice Con. So yeah, I'll go ahead.
Well,
tackle this one.
do you want to before you get that Wonder Woman and Aquaman, anything you found interesting with that?
Just that I don't know how much more of them he kind of led to that they were going to be in his vision. Like, I'm sure there's going to be more, but it didn't seem like he was really pushing on it like he was a Cyborg. So I think there's going to be a lot more Cyborg than we see of Aquaman and Wonder Woman, but I don't know.
I did like what he said at the end. He said, because WB's been so amazing in just letting me finish my own vision, it's divergent in some ways by its nature, but and that is a thing you want because it allows more and more different ways. Like he talks about Wonder Woman saying, we're at a point with her saying, thinking about what she left behind, and it's just seeing where these characters are in place. But I like that he acknowledges that all these films are now kind of outside of his continuity, but these characters can exist separately within it.
Right.
Again, DC's very famous for change a couple of things and change one thing, and you get a whole new Earth.
Yeah.
So
Chris even says in there that Justice League theatrical cut probably lines up better, like continuity wise, with the DCEU going forward than what his would. So I love to acknowledge it, but he also acknowledged that he did not see the movie. Which is the first time he actually acknowledged that, I think, like verbally.
Yeah, verbally, yeah. And he's I think in one of the chats he's had, he said, in reality, from what he understands from what was released, he said maybe a fourth of his actual film has been seen.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you were talking about how the it being so divergent with the story he has and what's going on with DCU now, and he touched on that too, talking about just Aquaman, the placement of the movies, Aquaman being set after, Justice League, and Wonder Woman being set before Justice League. So Wonder Woman 84 being set before Justice League. So it does actually, both of them set before Justice League. So it is kind of crazy like that. You can go a lot of different directions, and I love Zack Snyder's vision. I love it, man. It's so nice. But yeah, okay. So now there's two more big things he talked about at the end, and y'all can each take this one if you want to. Just one of y'all start with whichever one you want.
Justice Khan. That's all. He basically mentioned that he was going to be there. He promoted it. He gave a shout out to the people that organized. He said it's a con for the fans by the fans, and he said he doesn't think that there's been one this big ever. And I think he might even be right in terms of free. I'm super excited for this. He mentioned that he's going to have a smile clip and an announcement.
Yeah, maybe he said maybe a small announcement for the fans.
Oh, I doubt it. I doubt it. And he said, and the fact he said maybe a clip, he's like, maybe a clip. He didn't verify it'd be a clip, but there's gonna be a clip, right?
Oh, the way he did say that it was.
He said I may show a clip of the movie. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think the smile announcement could be?
Ooh, I don't know. That's what I was going to ask y'all.
It's a tough thing because he's got two. I equate Justice Con to DC Fandom, and those they're two big cons that are happening in their own right. So he's gonna have to have something big for this one. I think what he's gonna do for this one is gonna be very special because this is for us, the people who have supported him in and out. And then he's going to have to do something big, but for more mainstream for fandom.
Chris?
That's at least my thing.
But I think it could be, maybe not this announcement, but the one in fandom, where he mentioned a couple times how close he and Fisher was, and Fisher's with him there. I think him and Fisher are going to get a Cyborg series out of this. Kind of like they're going to take page from the way that Marvel's doing it with Disney Plus and like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and whatnot. I think Cyborg, after the events of Zack Snyder's Justice League, is going to get his own 8-episode thing to just tell a bit more of a story, especially in this climate. I really think that is probably maybe not this announcement, but I feel like that's going to happen soon.
So what if he did that announcement at JusticeCon this Saturday? And then about Cyborg, and then at Fandom he did the announcement that the Snyderverse is going to continue as a miniseries on HBO Max. Like, how cool would that be?
I think that's the big announcement I would say for Fandom. I agree. I think that's going to be the big mainstream announcement. I think that'll be too huge for something he'll give a hint towards something for fandom,
Like maybe Cyborg.
enough for us to chew on. Like you said, the Cyborg, and then the big one is that would be the biggest coup. We thought just letting him finish this cut, but that would be the biggest coup of all of anything we've seen in films.
So great.
Oh man, I really hope that's actually what happens.
And I thought I lost my mind at the end of the commentary when he announced the darn thing. At that point, I might just...
Well, we're getting two kind. When's DC fandom again?
End of August.
End of August. Yeah. Okay, so we're
22nd or something, right? Yeah.
We're essentially getting 2 of these in 4 weeks, pretty much.
Yep.
And that's
it's gonna be fantastic.
Oh my god, DC is
Killing it.
so much content right now.
Yeah, killing it. But
can't wait to see it. Cannot wait. I want to see. That's what I said before. When we get all these leaks, I get frustrated with the leaks these days. It's just like, because there's nothing confirmed outside of a few things, and everything else there's like, oh, there's so much back and forth. Just hold it until fandom so we can get some confirmation on stuff and see what direction it is, because it's just too much divisiveness.
yeah,
Big day for DC on that whole weekend. I'm excited.
Oh yeah. Got anything else you want to say about that, Chris? Do you want to stick around? We have one more a news topic. Do you want to stick around for that, or do you need to go ahead and get out of here?
Yeah, I'll stick around for the news topic.
Okay, cool. Well, the only other thing we're going to talk about is the Atom Smasher news. Is Noah Centineo is cast as Atom Smasher? So take it away. I don't know a lot about this guy. He's basically DC's Ant-Man, right?
I wouldn't go that far.
No,
Okay.
I've only seen him really.
Yeah, he only gets big.
Okay, he doesn't shrink.
You got the atom shrinks.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't know a lot about this character. I looked up a little bit about him. Apparently, the same kind of way as Ant-Man, when he grows, his power and his density, whatever strength grows, and with it, it said something about his bones breaking down and rebuilding as he grows, which is kind of crazy to think about, but I guess we kind of have to. And he is vulnerable to super punches, one like Black Adam tends to do. So that might be why he has difficulty. I think they said he's been knocked out a number of times by Black Adam. So other than that, I don't know a lot about the character. Do y'all know a little about him?
I'll let Travis, because he wasn't on this Friday's Civil Servants, so I'll let him take the lead on that one.
Well, I know this character from seeing it on The Flash, and he was played by the wrestler Edge, but he didn't get that big, really, before he was trapped in a machine and basically incapacitated. He was sent by Zoom to take it Flash, but that's about the extent. I've seen him a couple times in Justice League Unlimited, the animated show, but I haven't read anything about him. Chris, do you have anything comics-wise?
Yeah, he got pretty decent coverage in Jeff Johns' run on JSA. It makes sense that he is linked with Black Adam, because there was a time that Black Adam did join the JSA. He had turned, kind of, I wouldn't say fully mended his ways, but he had gone, quote-unquote, good. And Atom Smasher was the one to kind of defend him joining the league and wanting him to give him a chance, things like that. But I believe at one point Atom Smasher goes too far in a battle and either does kill someone or severely injures, civilians, or goes too far, and the JSA kind of turns against him and wants him to, account for his wrongdoing. And then Black Adam says, "They don't get you, I get you. Come to Kandek, and you'll be with me." And so that says to me, and I said this on Civil Servants, that him being in this movie says we are going to have a big flash forward in time, because Atom Smasher is present day. Okay. And so we're going to see obviously we knew I figured we were going to see the birth of Black Adam at that point, but we're definitely going to be flash forwarding at points. So are we going fully present day? Maybe, but Atom Smasher is more of a present day. He is a legacy character for who he is based off of of an original JSA member.
Okay.
Well, I think if we're getting JSA members, I'm just going to assume that we're going to get a couple more casting names out there. But when DC fandom hits, and maybe they'll join the Rock and his panel. Because it's all virtuals only. Like we've seen Henry Brady and for the Zack watch party. It's only easy for him to bring in multiple members of the JSA just part of the team. I'm really excited for this movie. I can't wait for it to get rolling. And I did see a little bit of backlash from him being cast because he was in rom-coms or something. I think that's so stupid. Like we haven't learned the fandom hasn't learned its lesson yet about like judging people before you get to see their portrayal.
I mean, for crying out loud, most of the time the character is in his mask, so really does it matter who it is at this point? Come on, I mean, I could care less. If they wanted to change Adam Smasher to a woman, cool. I'm all in at that point. I just want to see the character on screen and see what they do with it.
Right. Yeah, it is so dumb. And I think people just always want to have their perfect idea of who they think would play the character. If it's not that, they won't go with it. And a lot of people base their watching and judgment of the movies on that kind of thing. No matter how good a performance is, if they don't like that actor, they just won't go with it. It's very, very strange.
Nothing changes, unfortunately. We get a little better, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to a point where we're going to lose that, because as fandoms get closer and closer together, there's always going to be trying a troll to tear them apart.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Hey, here we go. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
You got it in there.
That is correct. They do. Well, all right, man. That's all we got for news. Chris, I know you wanted to stick around for a little while, but you got to get going. So, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Chris Balga. 2 shows, the counter to this show. I'm sorry, I'm not, you guys claim yourselves the tag team champions. You do, I guess, have it on this, since you both do host 2 shows together. So I will seed you on that at that point. But we do the counter to this on Mondays. Marvel Alliance with Travis Snell, and then I've got my own show, World's Finest True Believers. Of which we're recording this week with you, Travis, and then a couple of weeks with you, Greg. Yes, so both those shows will be coming very, very soon. We'll leave those topics for what they will be soon. But thanks for letting me crash. I know thank you for letting me back on next week to talk more about Justice Con. But as always, gentlemen, it is a pleasure, and thank you all for letting me crash the party.
Thanks for coming, Chris.
It's a pleasure having you on, and I'll be talking to you probably later on this evening. So we'll see you very soon. But, folks, for right now, we're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So, we went through the news. We've got 2 more segments of the show to talk about, so let's walk into the next segment. We have a lot of show questions this week. We put out every weekend, or every day, every Monday we're going to do the show. We put out a tweet talking about show questions, asking fans for them, and you guys respond greatly, and I really appreciate it. We are available anytime during the week to ask us show questions. We just put a question out there on Mondays to see if anybody wants any. But you can send us show questions any time of the week, and we're willing to give it our best shot to answer it. So, got a lot this week. I'm going to pull them up real quick. Let's see. I tried to get it done while I was sitting there talking, but couldn't get it done. Because I want to read the questions verbatim. Here we go. So, first question from Legendary Bearded Geek, Eric. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. He asked, do we think they should do more audiobooks like Sandman? And if so, what stories would you appreciate hearing done? I got to be honest, Eric, I haven't listened to the audiobook of Sandman. The only knowledge I have of that is what Chris Balga and Nathan have told me. It sounds like a really good book. I am about to start investing in listening to audiobooks very soon, hopefully this week. I thought about it today, but I just couldn't get around to it. It's Monday. It's my busiest day at work. But I think that I'm going to start doing it soon. Sandman's going to be the first one I listen to based on the recommendations from Nathan and Chris. And from there, the next things I'd want to hear is I'd probably want to start going into Star Wars stories, which are already out there. So I can't really answer if they should do more like Sandman, because I haven't heard Sandman. I don't know if there are more that kind of way or how that story is. But if it's good, I'm definitely excited to hear more about it. But Sandman and Star Wars is next on my list in audiobooks for me. What about you, buddy?
I think they should do more audiobooks if this one's successful, and we'll see. I think that's what mainly will drive this if we get more. I'd like to. I also put down maybe other franchises like Star Wars will follow suit as well, and just this was designed for an audiobook. He teamed up. and I also think like we're gonna get a like coming to the small screen with Netflix and Warner Brothers. Like there's a 10 volume. No, it's soon to be adapted. The 10 volume work of the Sandman series. So I don't know much about Sandman. He's probably one of the characters I'm least averse to. So I don't know what story I would like to see told about him. I was looking around and I did read a short one, but the Golden Boy, it was pretty interesting. It's like an alternate version of the history of America. And Nixon's replaced by seemingly perfect Prez Richard, who in his first term solves the energy crisis, prevents wars, and brings justice and peace to America. However, a mysterious politician called Bob Smiley looms over him in his second term, is marked by personal tragedy. Eventually, Dream offers Prez a deal, which he takes. He becomes a former messiah, traveling to alternate versions of America and trying to fix things.
Okay. I mean,
so
I think any
that would be pretty.
Yeah, I think any story that you can kind of grasp onto, that you could hear somebody talk to you and explain to you or tell you as they're going, narrate to you, would be interesting. Which is why Nathan's been trying to get me to listen to audiobooks for a while, and I should, because everything he tells me to do like this, it always ends up being really fun and I enjoy it. I was thinking about just you going off your description of the book you thought right there. I read a comic called Oblivion Song by Robert Kirkman. It's the guy who does Walking Dead. And it's his new run. Well, it's not new anymore. It's about a year and a half old now. But it would be really interesting because it's a great story. I wouldn't mind listening to an audio version of that. I don't know if that's necessarily the way audiobooks work. Because, like I said, I'm not experienced in that.
I think Swamp Thing could be good as well, Greg. I think you could tell that you could do a good one with Swamp Thing.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm sure whenever I get into audiobooks, because I know Chris was telling me that if I have Prime and I sign up for Audible, I think it is, that I get 2 free books, and Sandman's on there for one of them, so I can get Sandman for one, and then I'm going to browse through and see what else I can pick for a second book, and who knows, maybe I'll have to add 2 more hours to the day to figure out how to listen to audiobooks because, man, time is spread thin.
Man, my podcast queue is backed up like crazy. I don't know where you're going to find time, especially with all the podcasting you do. And but I'll be interested to hear your thoughts when you do get through it. And thanks, Legendary Bearded Geek, for the question. Basically, if you want more of this, you got to buy it.
Yeah.
And you'll get more.
But awesome question, man. I appreciate it. Let's go to the next one from our homeboy Nathan. He asked us, the 7 League members have all been killed. Pick 7 heroes to make up the new Justice League. Okay, I can do that. You want to go first or you want me to go?
All right. I'll go first. I really, Nathan, bring the heat for a second week. I love this. I basically picked Green Arrow to replace Batman. I picked John Stewart to replace Hal Jordan. I picked Captain Atom to basically replace Superman in terms of strength. I picked Black Canary to replace Wonder Woman. I picked Shazam to replace the Flash. I picked Dr. Fate, and I picked Plastic Man as well.
Okay, good team, man. I mean, this is such a fun question because there's so many things running through my head. When I first saw it, I was like, I can do this real quick. And then I get the first 3 or 4 that I definitely want on the team, and it's like ranking movies. After that, it's so difficult to pick the last ones you want in there because you don't want to pay disrespect to anybody, but there's so many people you want to include. But I did Nightwing to replace Batman, Supergirl to replace Superman, Zatanna because she's a good character to have on the team, Wally West to replace Flash, Superboy because having 2 Kryptonians on a team is always a good idea, John Stewart because having somebody who has some cosmic knowledge is a great idea as well, and I kind of want a Thumper on there, so I put Swamp Thing. So I feel like he'd be the muscle of the team, and based on what he did in Apocalypse War, that's a guy that I want. He did what the entire Justice League had to join together to do by themselves. So that's a guy I want on my team. But that one's pretty cut and dry, man. There's our 7 replacements, and I think that they're all pretty valiant teams. I wouldn't want to go against them, but.
Same.
Yeah. So Tony Walton has the next question, man. At Walt Gator, he asks us, DC wants us to do a crossover movie / television show, 45-minute episodes They picked 7 heroes and 7 villains from all different universes that we have already seen in past movies/shows. What 7 heroes and villains do they pick? I assume it means we pick. And which universe does most of the event take place? So, I'll go first on this one. I'll say all of this is going to take place in the Snyderverse for me, because it's my favorite. It's my favorite DC universe. And if I have to build a team of characters, that we've seen live action, basically is what he's asking. I'm picking Green Arrow. I'm picking Stephen Amell, Green Arrow. I'm picking Grant Gustin, Flash. Ben Affleck's Batman. Henry Cavill's Superman. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I want Nightwing from Teen Titans, and I want Dr. Manhattan on my team. Those are my 7 heroes. And then for villains, I want Heath Ledger's Joker. I want Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I want Michael Shannon's Zod. I want Manu Bennett's Deathstroke. I want Tom Cavanaugh Reverse Flash. Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, and Sinestro from Mark Strong, Sinestro from Green Lantern. Those are my villains, and my probably my favorite. All of those are my favorite DC, or not DC, but just actually DC villains that have been live action, just in general. So yeah, that's my team, and it's all in the Snyderverse. So you know it's gonna get nuts.
That's not bad, Greg. I must say. I went a little bit different route. Most of this is going to take place in the CW, DC CW. It's going to be kind of like Crisis on Two Earths. There's an animated movie, with Justice League crossing over to the to a different Earth where Lex Luthor is a hero and like Joker is a hero. Kind of similar to that in terms of just one Earth affecting another Earth. That's it. And my heroes are Henry Cavill as Superman, Ben Affleck as Batman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Stephen Amell as Oliver Queen as Green Arrow, Barry Allen from the Flash TV show, Kara from Supergirl, and Margot Robbie.
I had Harley Quinn on mine, but I crossed her out. Yeah, she didn't make the cut. Dr. Manhattan.
Just because of the mad.
Sorry.
The madness that she would ensue with the rest, I think is good. And the villains that I chose for them to go up against: Brainiac from Krypton, Deathstroke from Titans, Lex Luthor from Supergirl, CW, John Cryer version, Doomsday from Krypton, Reverse Flash from The Flash, Ra's al Ghul from Nolan's Batman.
He almost made my cut too.
And Metallo from the DC CW.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, awesome teams. We could make some really cool shows. If we just had everything in the toy box, just let me play with it however I want to. We could have some really cool shows. But, yeah, very interesting, man. I would definitely watch your 45-minute, 6-episode television show series, movie / what the Justice League is going to be.
Same for you, my friend.
All right, one more question.
Thanks, Tony, for
man.
the question.
Love it. One more question from John, and that's John L. And he asked if DCCW is rebooting with Stargirl, what is your next show or two? Personally, I'd try to keep Grant Gustin as Wally. Interesting. But maybe 2 seasons before giving a team show. I'm not sure how he wants to tackle that kind of stuff. I'm assuming he means Grant Gustin. So you start this one off, man. Last question.
For DCCW reboot, if Stargirl is the standard and the way they're going to be doing this going forward, I would do a Legion of Superheroes show set in the 30th century, the year 3000, and I would do a Young Justice show as well.
Okay.
And I would do both of those, and I would try to capture what Stargirl has, because I can't wait to talk about Stargirl.
It's so great. Okay. I went a little simpler. I would say that if you're going to reboot with Stargirl, which is what I feel like they're softly doing, I would break off from Stargirl. I would have an Hourman show. I would have a Wildcat show, and I would have shows that focus on them. And you can have this universe, and kind of opposed to what they did in the Arrowverse and the Flash, the universe where you bring all the heroes together for one show once a year. You could do it where maybe Hourman's in an episode of the Wildcat show, or Wildcat's in an episode of Stargirl show, and every 2 or 3 weeks you have a character or two come over and do an episode of that show, and then once a year do a team up of all of them, but have them in their own kind of universe on the DCCW, and you can expand from there, of course, where they can cross over or be solo at any time. And I think you could really, really have a creative show system with that. It's kind of what they did in the Arrowverse. I mean, they did have, I guess, some episodes where the Flash came into Arrow for a moment, or Diggle, type thing. But I mean, more every other week type deal. You see a character from another show. You wouldn't have to have a team up every week, but don't go, especially if you're gonna have 23 episodes. Because man, I hope they don't go in that route. If you have 23 episodes, you should have at least 10 or 11 of those where somebody else is on the show to help, to carry the load and to make it a little more fun. But just my opinion. But hopefully they're not going 23 episodes. What you think?
If they do, Greg, I hope that they have more members of the JSA, and they have like 2 or 3 members an episode go off to a mission. Like I would enjoy that more than just bringing them all together. And I think there's a good amount right now, and I'm just excited. I wonder what they're going to do going forward. Maybe this will be the tone. Maybe the CW will invest more. Maybe they'll be smart and just keep the episode count down. But I have no idea.
Yeah, I really don't know, man. You could go a bunch of different directions, and I think Stargirl is going to be, like I said, a soft reboot of the DCCW. It's that kind of cleanse the palate. Let's start a new chapter in this adventure type deal, this universe type deal. And based on the way they've been doing the show, I'm excited for it because I'm loving this show, loving it. But that was all our questions, man. You got anything else you want to add to any of them?
Just thanks for the questions, listeners. I'm really excited to get their questions about maybe pertaining to Justice Con next week, and especially after we're done DC fandom. I'll want to hear what their thoughts about it, what they think, what they want us to talk about. I'll be super excited about that. But even like this week, all the questions were great. Thanks so much. We appreciate it so much.
It's always fun. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and take one more break, and then when we come back, we'll do our show reviews, and we'll wrap things up and get out of here. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. We'll be right back. All right. So we're back. Here we go with our show reviews, and like always, we're going to check out Stargirl and Doom Patrol because the 2 shows going on right now that we are absolutely loving. So let's get started with Doom Patrol, and we did Space Patrol. Came out last Friday. This show was interesting. Once again, the ending kind of blew my mind. I don't know how every week I can think that I can just watch part of the show before I get on and not watch the ending and feel like I know what's going on because the ending completely changes what's going on. They did it this week where I'm kind of pulling what little bit of bald head hair I have out, trying to figure out. I should pull my beard hair. That's what I should do.
Pull beard. I was just going to say that.
Pull beard hair. Because I can't figure out where they're going or why they did that, or just couldn't believe what happened. And this week did not disappoint in that manner either. But you, man, what did you think this week? Was it? I mean, for me, it was. I don't want to say better, but it definitely wasn't worse. So I wasn't disappointed in the episode. What about you?
I enjoyed the episode. It's just weird. This whole show is so weird.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Dorothy taking off. What happened to Jane, with the candle maker? She's covered in wax when Cliff finds her. I love all that. I love the development in Vic's relationship after what happened with Finger Patrol. He's not running away anymore. He's helping her, and I love what they discover, a little connection between Niles Calder, Vic's father, and Roni. That's pretty cool as well. This show is just bonkers, Greg. Like you said, the ending is pretty wow. I didn't expect them to do that. even though they teased it in the promo that I watched. I just forgot about it. I got caught up in the story, and pretty interesting. I can't wait to talk about it. So let's dive in.
Wait, when you said they teased it in the promo you watched, what part did like him? Well, spoilers. We're talking about right? Him floating through space.
Yeah, him getting ejected from the ship.
Really? I didn't see. I must not have seen that, or maybe I just forgot about it because it totally took me by surprise. I had no idea it was coming. No idea.
I forgot about it, I must say.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the astronauts that came in. What is it? I can't remember the female's name, but I know the guys were Zip and Specs. Because, Zip was the one who's not afraid of anything except for marriage, and Specs was the brain of the operation. And then I can't remember, I don't know why I can't remember this female's name, but she had the negative spirit, which is pretty cool. And she had learned to hone it.
Yeah, she said it took her 5 years in like the airlock space in the ship.
Yep. And she could hone it even to the point where she didn't have to have bandages, and her face looked normal.
Valentina Vostok was her name.
Okay. Call her Val. How about that?
Yeah, there you
Works
go.
for me. So do you think that based on what we saw with this, that we're ever going to see Larry get to a point where he can contain it, control it, and he may look normal again?
I don't know. The concept, I think we may get it for an episode or two, but the look of Negative Man with the bandages is too iconic.
Yep.
I think maybe like by the end of the series it may happen, but I think that his look is too iconic for the event. It's not expensive at all. So I really think that that's the way it'll go.
That's a good point. It's not a very expensive suit. But yeah, you're right. Maybe that is a good send-off. If they're going to do this for 4 seasons, 5 seasons, and in 5 seasons they decide to stop, it's a great way to send the character off type deal. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that they're going to take away from that because it is it's Larry. It's the way he looks. It would feel wrong, if it wasn't him wrapped up in the bandages. So, but I think that it will lead to him having more control or more connection with the negative spirit. Maybe not necessarily being able to take the bandages off or look like he wants to, but I think he'll have a better connection and more control, and it'll be a better team, even though it's been getting better as the season's been going. But I think he still has a lot to learn with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. But he did get him and Rita out of there last time. That was pretty impressive. Before, he was completely incapacitated when his negative spirit would release. So just pretty impressive that he's even improving. Those Zip and Specs, those were so weird, but they were from a hive mind from bacteria. So, or spores, I think. They were exposed, and once they got to Earth's atmosphere, they were killed eventually. And you just watched them repeat the same things over and over again, they were in a hive mind collective, and then they eventually died. It was a little bit of a funny thing thrown in there. They were basically meaningless.
Yeah, they pretty much had programmed things to say, and that was pretty much all they could do. They couldn't learn anything. That was it. So,
in reality, it shows how heartless Niles really is, because he left these people up in space and didn't even think twice. He mentioned it here that he lost contact with them and just assumed they were dead, and he don't even care. He didn't care enough, have not seen them since he sent them out to launch. He didn't care enough to stay and greet them or even talk to them.
Yeah, that was pretty rude.
That's pretty. Even though his daughter takes off in the spaceship, Dorothy leaves because she's sad about what happened with Jane and Baby Doll, especially what she did. And she can't make another wish, or the Candlemaker will be released, and obviously we think that she's eventually going to do that. And
they still haven't said that in the show. I know Chris told us that, and I believe him. I believe it's true, because otherwise there'd be no reason why Niles would be so adamant about her not making another wish. But it is interesting that why wouldn't you just tell her that? I just don't understand. To me, it seems like the best way to stop somebody from doing that is to tell them, be like, hey, if you do this, you will destroy the world. Just so you know. To me, that seems like the best. I don't know. Maybe I'm a different kind of parent. But that's how I do it with my kid. I'd be like, hey, don't do this or you'll kill everybody. It seems the most direct way to me, at least.
Yeah, it is, but she clearly doesn't have the greatest capacity there, so that must be frustrating for Niles especially.
I think he just babies her. But, once again, it's a TV show. and
Yeah.
different types of parenting. But yeah, the astronauts. It was funny when they had the astronauts and they buried them. And we talked about this in Super Civil Servants. Did you notice that they dug the hole, they threw him in the hole, and then they just walked away?
Yeah.
They didn't bury him. They just kind of walked away.
No,
and I
they
was
didn't
like,
bury
well,
him.
that doesn't work really. But okay, maybe they're gonna let him die
fire.
first, completely. I'm not sure, but they
That
look like a
was
robot
really
shutting
odd.
down, huh?
I said that was really odd. The
Yeah.
Jane stuff was cool too. The whole like underground, what happened there, them dealing with the aftermath of the Candlemaker coming in and basically killing two personalities. Miranda, they're going to throw him down the well. Jane does not want that. She says multiple times. Miranda went down there and never came back. And Miranda comes out of the well. Jane questions her as not sure, and she throws two of the personalities down the well, and says that they will be reborn as different personalities, basically. So Jane lets Miranda be primary by the end of this episode.
See, here's my thing: is what I don't understand is if Miranda was the first primary, right, the main primary, why does the real girl look like Jane?
I don't know. That's a good point.
You know,
Greg.
like I would think if she was the main primary, making me think she's like the person, the main brain, like the main primary would look like her, and then different personalities. Because they even said certain personalities look like Jane, certain ones don't. I just feel like the main primary would look like Miranda, but I mean, it's a TV show and it's a really fucking nuts TV show, so I mean they can kind of do whatever they want to there. The funeral was interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to take of Miranda coming out of the well and where this is going to go in the future, because I don't think it's going to be good. Let's put it that way. I think it's going to be something that's bad, whatever happens next with it. I don't think they made the right decision. Not that they probably could have made a different decision, but I just don't think that this is going to be good for the underworld, the mind, the underground. So
Well, we got 3 weeks left, Greg. So
yeah. And we still don't have a big bad yet to fight in the season.
the Candlemaker.
Well, maybe.
Oh, 100%. That's what he's being built for.
You think so? But was he only going to show up in the last episode?
Well, he keeps talking to her too, right? Trying to like convince her and persuade her. Like he's in every episode talking to her.
Okay, so when do you think she makes the third wish?
Uh,
Based on 3 episodes left, I think at the end of the second of 3 episodes, she makes the
you
third
know
wish.
what? You know what I think it's gonna be.
What's
Niles is gonna be dying,
Ooh.
and she's gonna wish that he was back the way he was before.
Ooh. Kind of a selfless wish. I get that. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. That definitely makes sense. I'm trying to think.
That'd be my guess. Vic's father and Niles worked on Roni's like cybernetics that she had implanted in her.
Mhm.
A scan showed that for Vic, and I assume he's going to confront his father next episode.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's definitely coming to roost. I mean, I think there's. It's funny how they kind of play Cyborg and his dad, or Vic and Silas, as such a big storyline, but they have such small time to tell the storyline on screen. Like you rarely see any of this story, but there's so much involved when they talk about this story, which makes me wonder if they're a bigger part of the future.
Yeah.
I thought it was last character, I guess, and there's Rita. She's made the role in this Old Town. She thought it was.
Yeah, that was a pretty blah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's crazy that she's meeting a younger girl who's playing her, and she hears what people are thinking of her from their point of view, not knowing they're talking to her. It's pretty interesting. I don't know how I'd handle that. I mean, I'd probably handle it like she did, because there's not really a point in overreacting or getting that mad, because it's not going to fix anything. But I could see somebody going crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much everything that happened with all the characters in the show this week, and except for Cliff. We didn't talk about Cliff and Niles Calder going into the spaceship, because he just happens to have a second spaceship in his garage. just because. So they go up into space, and I thought the actual space scene was pretty cool. Man, I want to go to space so bad. Before I die, I hope that it is available in my lifetime for civilian space travel, because I just want to go into space so bad, just one time.
I think in the next 10 years you'll be able to go in space.
I think in the next 10 years, billionaires will be able to. I think in the next 30 to 40 years, maybe somebody like me might be able to, and that's pushing it for me. So that's getting right up there for me. But man, so badly, I want to be able to go to space. Oh my gosh, you don't even know. And just I love seeing scenes like this. Him sitting on the moon, them looking. I don't. The green and purple color in the sky. I know that Aurora Borealis is like that, but I don't know if that's what it's called when it's on the moon. And it's like that's a thing up in the northern pole, I believe, or somewhere up in that area.
Aurora Borealis, yeah. Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights.
Yeah. So, but it showed that on the moon, and man, I just want to go so bad and just see. I love seeing any kind of depiction of people being in space, in the moon, on Mars. It just. I want to go so bad. But
the visuals there too. The visuals there when he sat down on the moon look fantastic. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's amazing. And we just got to get to the end here, Greg, where Chief shoots Cliff out the back of the spaceship, leaving him and Dorothy in it together. I think he did that so that Cliff wouldn't come with them. I think they're going to go meet the Candlemaker. Perhaps, maybe. Actually, no, yeah, I think they're going to meet the Candlemaker. That would be my guess.
But is Niles really that heartless? I mean, seriously. I mean, I know we see him do some crazy stuff, but he literally just pushed this man into space to float away forever at the same speed in the same direction until something stops him forever.
We don't know what direction he sent him in. So he could be sending him back to Earth for all we know.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I don't know if he can make it through the atmosphere.
Maybe that'll be a test.
Could be.
But pretty cool way to end the episode, I must say.
It was. It was. When he asked him to go put the helmet away, he was like, "Go secure the helmet." And I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Why would you be worried about securing a helmet? And more importantly, isn't there anything else you need to secure more important than a helmet?" But Nathan was talking about that he knew it right then when it happened. I was like, I didn't see it coming. Like, until it happened, I did not see it coming. So, watch Doom Patrol to the very, very end, y'all, because there's always something crazy that happens at the very, very end.
That's Greg's TED Talk.
But, all right, man. We only got one more thing to talk about, and that is Stargirl, which is so far this year probably my favorite favorite superhero television show. I don't think there's anything else that's come out this year better than this, right? I mean, I like The Boys better, but it was last year.
That's
I like
not yet.
Titan. I like Titan a little better, but it was last year. I like Umbrella Academy a little better, but it was last year. But I do love this show.
Arrow season 8, but it was last year.
Okay, so nothing this year.
Yeah.
This is definitely the peak of this year.
The season finale was this year, but I won't give that enough to sway it over this season of Stargirl.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, overall thoughts, man. Like we always do. What do you think?
Really
getting better?
This episode, Greg. Oh, this was such a great episode. The stuff with Barbara was good. I love the back and forth that she had. She had to come to terms with what was going on. I love Henry too. I just can't wait to talk about Henry. It went. I stated this last week. That seems like the themes of this show are: will you follow in your parents' footsteps, or will you blaze your own trail? Sometimes I guess it's good to follow in your parents' footsteps, and sometimes blazing a trail is the better way. And I love how Henry, by the end of this, does the right thing and just shows everybody that he's his own person and not just like his father. Pretty chilling. I thought that I believed that Icicle was the one that killed his Henry's mother. That's what I was thinking right up until the end, and that was a great reveal. So, what about you, Greg? What are you thinking?
Same, man. This show is better every week. I am so surprised at what's going on. It throws me for a loop. I had my predictions with Henry and Brainwave and Brainwave Jr. What was going to happen, and They crushed that literally this week, and I just I don't know, man. I think I said in the chat earlier, we were talking, me and you and Brent, and we were talking about it, and I said I love this show. It has some seriously huge balls, and I probably should have put those in two different phrases because those two together. Yeah, those two together and separate. I probably should have separated those, but it really does, man. The steps they take, the calls they make in this show. I haven't seen a few of them coming, and it's blown my mind what's happened, and I'm just loving where the show is taking me. I do hope it is a reboot of the DCCW. I actually would rather see it on HBO Max, personally, because I think they could do a better job than DCCW. Not because DCCW writes bad, but because HBO Max has more freedoms than DCCW. Budget, yeah, exactly. So I feel like they could do a better job with that in that manner, and maybe one day. But I doubt it if they end up using this to reboot the DCCW, which if they do, I'm cool with that. I like the direction this is going. I just hope they don't stray far from the theme, the feeling, the heart of this show, because I'm loving this show going forward. Well, it's in the past and going forward. So,
well, it's renewed for CW, so it'll be on that universe, and maybe Stargirl will be taking like a big step forward. Maybe she'll cross over next year. With Supergirl or The Flash or somebody. I gotta say, like, this was great. I even really loved the Barbara stuff. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Like, we'll get into that first. About her finding out. I loved the back and forth. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I love that. And it actually starts out even before that, with 2 years ago, which I wanted to ask you about that meeting with Pat and Barbara, where they meet in the diner and they're having the same kind of Sunday, and they just kind of get together and start talking. You know what it never tells you? And maybe I missed it, is why is Pat in Blue Valley at that point?
He has all the materials. He's going through like the book that Rex Tyler left and going through like maps and stuff.
But he doesn't say that, right?
No, you just see him going through that and you think,
oh, okay. That's what I missed then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was drawn there based on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it tells you why Barbara's there, but it was a cool little meeting. And then fast forwards
pretty cool meet cute.
Huh? Yeah.
It was pretty cool, meet cute.
Yep. But then it flash forwards exactly to the end of the last episode where Barbara finds the staff, and that's where you were picking up on right there.
Well, she was half believing Courtney's lie again, and Pat's like, "No, we're telling her everything now. And she says multiple times to Courtney that her father isn't Starman, even after seeing the picture of Starman. And Courtney's headstrong and doesn't listen to anything she's saying.
Well, she also never denied it.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing, is she never denied it, and they dropped the name Sam Curtis, which I googled Sam Curtis DC, which has one appearance in a DC comic, but I couldn't find out anything else about it other than that is a name in the DC universe, is Sam Curtis. So it's still out there. I still think Starman's her father.
Who knows, Greg? Who knows?
Wouldn't that be weird, though, if Stripesy is your sidekick and you have a kid with a woman, and then years later he becomes married to that woman? It's kind of weird.
That's not as weird as you would think. Like, I assume you would see that sometimes with the army people. I'm pretty sure in one run, like, a person that worked alongside Captain America married Peggy Carter while Cap was gone, presumed dead. So I think that was a cool little meet, but Pat has never said either that Starman is Courtney's father.
That's true. That's why I think that you don't leave it out there that long for it to not be true. I feel like if it wasn't, why wouldn't they tell her? Or tell her no? I
don't know, Greg. Or maybe I do know, but I'm sure we'll find out at some point.
Yeah? You've been doing a little reading?
I did brush up on some Stars and Stripes comics. Like, during this whole time, this has been really good stuff. I kind of wish I didn't and waited till after season 1. So we're almost there. 3 episodes.
I got you. You spoiled yourself, is what you're saying. A little bit.
But Brainwave, I love Brainwave and his son. Mm-hmm. The little back and forth they have too. Like, they kind of bond. It seems like they're bonding with the talk about his mother dying. And like the hugging, and he goes back. Henry's pretty perceptive because he only hears a couple things from his father while he's sleeping, and he goes back and put pieces number together, watch The Last Day, and finds out what happened with his mother, and he truly realizes the scale then. So he goes back to the hospital, and Icicle's already there, and takes away Henry's father to power up the machine.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you, Brainwave is definitely going to be a good guy by the end of it and save the day. And I know that I called some things earlier about this, and it definitely is not happening now, but I just feel like what's happened because he had his memory erased for 10 years after he woke up in the coma, which makes me feel like that may be 10 years of maybe his memory being controlled. And then he's just fine when he gets out, and he's good friends with his son, and he's trying to figure things out. And then as soon as the ISA has him, and they have him, I guess, hooked up to whatever machine, because I don't know if that was the machine for the New America. That just was a machine. As soon as he comes out of that, he's back to being evil, and he's pretty vicious, and does some things that are, man, just blew my mind. Even whenever I thought this was what was going to happen, I didn't think it was what was going to happen. You know?
Yeah.
He admits that he's the one who killed his wife, which I don't believe is something he did of his own volition. And then, we'll jump ahead, spoilers, he kills Henry. Which I didn't think up until the exact moment it happened. I thought something was going to happen where he didn't. And they took that step. Pretty amazing, but I don't think that we're done with him. I don't think that he's of his right mind. I think he's being controlled, and I think things are going to change by the end of
That's an interesting point,
season.
Greg. I think that that little thought of yours, I think, could pan out to be true, because you did break it down pretty well there. I don't know if we're finished with Henry either.
Really?
Who knows? Dr. Ito has done some things with some bodies before. He took the body of that girl, the wife of the wizard. Yeah, the wizard. The wife of the wizard. He took to her body. So he's been known to do things. He did enhancement on his daughter and everything. So who knows what?
What if they end up breaking Henry Sr., the father, and he becomes a good guy, and they break him of whatever the spell or whatever mind control he's under, and he ends up being a good guy, and he's a good guy from here on out. But Ito saves his son and makes his son power the machine. Oh my gosh! Like by the end of the season, like maybe Brainwave gets taken over to the good side, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay. We don't need him. We've got this." And the big reveal is they've revived his son. Wow! I just wrote it. There you go. There's the ending for the season.
We have the reveal of the Dragon King as well.
Yes.
Dr. Ito, that was a pretty good payoff. That looked really good. What did you think about that?
I thought that was pretty cool. It was very brief. We didn't really get a chance to get a great look at it. I'd like to see more of it. Maybe just slower with him talking. To see it kind of Killer Croc style Suicide Squad, because it'd be cool to see that where it's not always moving fast and you can get a better look at it. But it was pretty cool. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to see that until the very end of the season. I didn't think that was going to be something that was going to be revealed right now. But realistically, the JSA got the drop on the ISA. They didn't know they were there. The whole team was in there. Had Courtney had her staff, that might have been to begin with. That might have been a totally different story.
Yeah, and we'll have to allude. We didn't talk about that. The staff goes to try to get Courtney to go out, and Courtney says no. We're in trouble, and the staff goes out on its own. Sends Icicle flying and tries to fight Brainwave. Brainwave stops him, and ultimately Icicle gets possession of the Cosmic Staff and cages it up, and that's what leads into one other thing. I loved how Henry convinced the JSA. Didn't even convince them. They wouldn't. He tried to convince them, and they wouldn't listen to him saying that he's not bad. He will not rat them out. He's on their side, and by the end of this, you can see all of them look into his eyes, and he even apologizes to Yolanda with his last moves. And I thought that was such a great touch to go from them not wanting to have anything to do with him to him going out like that and them seeing it. I think that's I hope we deal with that in the next episode.
Yeah, and I will point out too, he did admit that he did do that. He did send those pictures. in this episode. You saw him? Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty undeniable. I think he admitted, he was like, I'm sorry for what I did. Like,
Well,
if
he
you
didn't
didn't do
say
it, you say
exactly.
something else then, you know?
Well, maybe like I'm sorry that I played the role of letting Sydney. I still think Sydney did it, and I think that we're going to see it because I don't think they would stage it up as Sydney versus her for the class president.
You know what?
And
That's
not
a,
have
that's a
that.
good point. That's a good
And
point.
not
That
have-
maybe one
I
day you
think
find out that she made him. do
Sydney's
it or
probably going
something,
to. She's probably going to do that in evilness. She's probably going to say, "I stole his phone when he was in the bathroom, or when he was gone, when he was sleeping. I snuck up into his room and sent it out using his phone."
Possibly. Yeah. I mean,
So,
it's very possible, yeah.
Like, just something. I think she's going to say it just to spite Yolanda whenever she does say it.
Yeah. What'd you think about the fact that you find out that Courtney and Henry are cousins? Or could be cousins, if Starman is her
Yeah.
real father.
I
Which
think that's pretty
I think
cool.
so.
I know
Yeah.
Courtney thinks it is a lot more than Henry. That was a pretty funny little moment there of like Henry being like, "Yeah, we'll figure this out later."
Right. Well, I don't think it would matter as much to him, you know?
No,
But, let's see. I'm trying to
Beth
think of any
and Beth and
more.
Rick find Grundy.
Yes, good point. I thought he was going to let Grundy out.
I did too. I'm so glad that he didn't. It would have not have been a smart idea.
Like, how strong has that door got to be, though, that our man can't open that door, can't pull that door open?
Well, especially when he punches all those bad guys and sends them back flying
Mhm.
after. But Grundy is Grundy too, Greg.
That's
And
true.
you're building Grundy to be this outrageous master. I don't even know if he'll be under ISA control, or will he
That's
just
what
be
I thought,
going
yeah.
off like in the Hulk when he's all raged out? Will he just be like smashing everything?
Well, that's what I thought. I thought that he was going to release him in this episode, and that was going to be their escape. Like, he was going to, because I don't think he's with the ISA. I think he's just being held captive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, why else would you hold him captive if he's not, with
We,
you?
we got a little look of his face through the bars as well.
A little bit, yeah. Very kind of trollish, but
I thought that was a good fight scene too between the JSA and the henchmen for
Yeah.
Dr. Ito.
Courtney is actually showed that she can hold her own without her staff, which is pretty cool.
Pretty outrageous. Pretty outrageous.
Pretty cool.
Got to suspend belief a little bit more. You don't see her training very often, and she jumps up with a spear and do
Right.
all these things. I'm like,
Right.
okay, the other people are wearing suits, but yeah, go on.
Well, no, yeah, characters don't take long to get trained, man. You automatically know how to fight once you become a superhero. That's the way it usually goes.
Laurel Earthborn Laurel Lance at 101. That is.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to make you mad.
Oh,
about
I
the
just-
Arrowverse. But yeah, man. Let's talk about the end with. Well, hey, before we get to the end, Pat and Barbara. Like, this whole time, Barbara seemed like she's ready to go, and it sucks because the divorce talk and the kids
She
and
kicked him out.
Yeah,
She
she
kicked him
kicked him
out for
out.
the night.
I hate seeing that kind of stuff. For the night, okay, I get that, but I thought it was really cool that she recorded Julian and his parents coming in there talking in
Jordan.
Swedish, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jordan.
Jordan, not Julian. Sorry, Jordan and his parents talking, and they were gonna take
I
that
wanna say
translate.
Maybe it's Danish, maybe I say, or Norway. They're from Norway.
I can't remember. I wrote down
Norwegish?
or Norwegian.
Norwegish, I think?
Norwegian.
Norwegian,
Yes.
yeah.
Sorry, yeah. I said I know I wrote it down,
Norwegish.
but I couldn't find it.
Norwegian. Yeah.
Which is a smart idea, and they
Yeah, I
don't
love
reveal
that.
a whole lot other than the machine. Right.
Yes, but also she has an email out. It looks like her Courtney's father responded to her.
Yes, but you didn't see anything about the response, just a response to her. So
Yeah.
once again, leaves that very open to what could happen. And
Yeah.
then, I guess Henry versus his dad, which was an awesome fight.
It was crazy, man. Greg, it was such a great fight. He tried to appeal to his father's sense of good, but his father drops a bomb on him, telling him that he killed his mother. He had to make a choice, and he
Yeah.
asked Henry let him train him, and Henry's like, "I'll never be like you," and stands up to him for a point in time, helps get the team out of the jail cell, and separates them from him. But ultimately, his father drops the roof on top of him.
Yeah, like I said, I really thought up until the second we saw that stuff drop, and even there for a second or two afterwards, I really thought that there's no way they're going to kill him. There's no way they're going to kill him, and they killed him. or I mean, at least that's what we think. But it blew my mind, man. I couldn't believe it because you were actually starting to like this character. At least I was.
Oh, I really
You
I
know?
really started rooting for him. I love how he says like people are nice, don't let this change your thinking of that, because
Yeah.
that's what Courtney said for to tell the group to accept him. I love how he actually, like I said earlier, like he didn't follow in his father's footsteps. It would have been a lot easier for him to. He probably would still be alive, but instead he chooses to do the right thing. And what a way to go out, and what an ending, Greg! What an ending.
Yeah, I think I messaged you and Brent and Nathan right after it, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Yeah.
could not believe it. As soon as it went off, what the fuck, man? So I'm so glad y'all didn't say anything about it throughout the day, because I know y'all had seen it earlier. But what an amazing story so far. I am so excited to see where it goes from here, because we still have so many things that can be unveiled. We're still seeing what's happening with Cindy. We don't know what's going on with her. We're trying to figure out what's going on with Project New America. We're trying to figure out what's going on with Courtney and her dad. We're trying to figure out. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on, man. There's still a superhero that hasn't been revealed yet. I don't know where this show is going, but I am so excited for where it might end up. And once again, if it ends up being the CW's kind of soft reboot, I'm back in the CW for sure.
This is great, Greg, and I can't wait. We only have 3 episodes left, and I'm really excited to see them all 11, 12, 13.
Well, I still think it's going to leave us on a cliffhanger in the final episode, because I just don't see anything ending soon. But
You could be
the show
right, my
also
friend.
surprises me every week, so I couldn't tell you. But that's about it, man. We got everything covered. We covered the news. We covered show questions. We covered the shows. And folks, I promise you that we are going to do our little DC superhero deep dive, but we're kind of saving that for weeks that are short on news. That's kind of
Yeah.
So we wanted to do it bi-weekly, and it's like, well, we got a lot of news to cover. We got a lot of shows to cover. We want to do it bi-weekly, but same type of thing. So we're doing those kind of things for slow news weeks, which with COVID going on, we're sure is going to be up pretty soon, even though DC somehow every week is pumping out a lot of news and a lot of things to talk about. So eventually we'll get to it. We definitely have them both. The next one's both written up, and as soon as we do those, which is Deathstroke and Dr. Fate, as soon as we do those, we'll put up a poll for the next 2. But those are kind of our fillers for short news weeks, and it just hasn't been like that lately. But
Well, we got Justice Con next week, and then probably the week after that it'll be a little bit shorter on news. So we'll probably
maybe
do it then. Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. But I mean, we had one big news story come out this week, and we talked about it for 30 minutes because it just depends on what the news is too. You know.
Greg, let's blame that on our special guest. I think that's all about us. All.
Yeah, he's gone. Let's blame it on him. It's a good idea.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
It's your fault.
there you go.
Thanks, Chris. Gosh.
Yeah,
taking up
Chris,
the whole
come on.
show. But no, man. Well, let's do some house cleaning before we get out of here. We didn't do it before the show. We're part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, where you can find everything you need Monday through Friday. Every kind of geek, I guess, need. I don't want to say need again, but need that you have. Check us out. Mondays is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Tuesdays is DC Ultimate Alliance. Wednesdays, World's Finest True Believers. Thursdays, switches off weekly with Star Wars Alliance and Slice of Film. And then Fridays, you can hang out with me and Travis again on superhero discussions and get a lot of animated knowledge. There should be some special shows coming in on Patreon. In fact, there have been a few that dropped pretty recently. I know that me and Travis Snell did the Batman show. It's the Batman You Complete Me show, which the first episode dropped today. It's on the Geekverse feed, so go check that out. Awesome time doing that. But
is it going to be its own separate podcast thing, or is it going to always come out on Geek Ultimate Alliance?
I'm not sure, to be truly honest with you. It didn't. Well, we did put it on Geek Ultimate Alliance. We put it on Geekverse. So
okay.
But I just know we're going to talk about Batman once a month and have a great time doing it. And I'm so excited because I listened to the first show today, and it was more fun listening to it than it was doing it. And it was really fun doing it. So, I'm super excited about that. But you can
I'm
check
very
us
excited to listen
all
to
out.
that too, Greg.
Yeah, dude, just dropped today. Check it out.
But also, patrons, me, Greg, and Chris Balga did a ranking of the DC animated universe movies. We broke them down as 90 minutes of talk, talking about the past movies and where they're going to go from here, from Man of Tomorrow onward. And we also did, me and Greg were part of a 7-person crew breaking down each person's top 10 comic book movies, and by the end we got an aggregate for them all, and I'm pretty happy with where the chips fell. I've really enjoyed both of those things and look for more of that in the future. $1 just supports the network, keeps the lights on, as Greg likes to say, and $5 is the ad-free episodes, early episodes, and special episodes like those two I just stated.
Yep. And you know what? I'm looking because I have it here. I actually have the averages for all of our animated movies somewhere, but I should probably announce that on DC, on the not super civil servants, on superhero discussions, because the animated show. So I'll do that this Friday. We'll talk about the averages for those 15 animated movies. But yeah, man, that's all the shows in the network. We do a lot of stuff. We're working real hard to get some content out there to you. We love fan interaction, so hit us up. Tell us some things you'd like to hear. Show questions, ideas you have for us to do in the future. Heck, we even, talk to us. We like having guests on the show from fans. I love having fans on the show as guests. It's an awesome time. But, Travis, where can they find you at, man, other than what we just talked about, or including what we just talked about?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Travis_156. Just drop me a line, and we can chat about DC anytime. I'm open to chatting about anything else. I can tell you about... I can give you some tips on 2K20. I know Greg needs a few with our back and forth. Maybe we'll get on and have a game before I call it a night. Just thanks for everybody for listening. Thanks for listener questions, and thanks for anyone who can support us on Patreon. I'm really enjoying the fun we're having on this network, and I can't wait for DC Fandom and JusticeCon.
Yes, sir. A lot coming up soon. And you can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter, my personal handle. You can check us out on all those shows we just talked about. Just look up Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, and you can find the information everywhere for all of our shows, all the hosts, everything we have going on. Contact us on Twitter. Keep listening. Give us a review. Like, share with your friends. All that stuff we're supposed to say to get you to promote this stuff. Get it out there. You can also check us out on Super Civil Servants Podcast Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on YouTube. Show drops Tuesday mornings. I was doing it Mondays, but Tuesday's just way easier for me. So show drops Tuesday morning audio-wise. Records Friday. You can be there live with us and check us out. And then if you want to see me any more than you already hear me or see me, check me out Tuesdays live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the C3 Panthers Podcast on YouTube. Awesome Panther show if you want to get away from Little Geek, get to some more reality, and talk about some football. So there you go. But that's it for me, man. I got nothing.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you very much. And I'm about to go get stomped by Travis here in NBA 2K, so we'll let you know how that works out.
Later, guys.
Yeah, later.